Integrative Health. This is a joint venture of NavBharat and HILAL Hospital, and we have the best opportunity to have speakers directly from Bharat, from India. It's Padmashri Dr. H.R. Nagendra. He's the founder, chancellor, and president of S-VYASA University, Bengaluru, as well as we have co-speaker Dr. Manjunath, who is the Vice-Chancellor, S-VYASA University, Bengaluru. I need a big round of applause for them. As NavBharat tradition, we always start the event with Guru Vandana. So would like to request you all to stand for Guru Vandana. Guru Vishnu, Guru Devo Maheshwara, Guru Sakshat Parabrahma, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Dhanyavad. Guru's place is always first. We are here because of his or her guidance. And that's what we will be getting blessings from our Guruji here. It's so much to speak about him, but whenever I try to speak, I know I shatter. Guruji, Padmashri Dr. H.R. Nagendra. A very lovely line. NASA to Vyasa. Yes, he was this scientist, research scholar at NASA, and then switched his journey in the direction of yoga and founded S-VYASA University. So he was a mechanical engineering. So we say from mechanical engineering to human engineering. Very good. And people, or we say formally, know him by, or they call him as yoga scientist. He is the chief advisor, yoga guru of our beloved PM, Shri Narendra Modi ji. And he is the one behind we are able to celebrate World International Yoga Day on 21st June every year. So he is a renowned personality. What more I can speak on this? Very difficult. Because if I keep going, so it will be going on and on. So, Guruji, I request you please to come. Please.
Go sit there.
Yes, please. Pradeep ji, please escort him.
No, we cannot see you.
No?
You want to talk? Yeah.
Yes.
Just first sit and talk.
The hospital authorities want to felicitate our Guruji. About Dr. Manjunath, the Vice-Chancellor S-VYASA University. He was doctor in Ayurveda and naturopathy and connected with Guruji from last 32 years. I am correct, no? Yeah. And then he's connected just like a magnet. That's the power of Guruji is, I can feel. And he's also a Vice-Chancellor of S-VYASA University and have been doing many programs related to yoga and yoga science, and has written many books as well as the research paper on same. So not taking because it's very difficult to speak in front of such renowned personality, I request Dr. Manjunath to please come on the stage. And here the HILAL team will be felicitating Dr. Manjunath. So we'll begin with it. And as the words of Dr. Manjunath only, that before you want to watch a movie, you should have a trailer. So I request Dr. Manjunath to please come and address us. Thank you.
All of you. It's a pleasure to be here. I was told we have some medical doctors here.
Yeah, all these are medical doctors. Very senior.
Fantastic.
All three.
Just can I take a quick introduction, sir, of yourself?
I am Manjunath N. I am from insurance, finance manager in insurance for 14 years, and totally in Bahrain for past 23 years.
Wow,
We
wonderful.
are from South India.
So, Kerala.
So you just no need to
This right now.
Okay, I am Dr. Charian. I work for 46 years. I am at Bahrain. I was with the Action Emergency Salmania Medical Complex, and now I am partially retired, to be frank.
Wonderful, sir.
I'm Dr. Sandhu, worked for 42 years in obstetrics and gynae in Salmania, and now I'm part-time worker in
Excellent.
Al-Kindi and Salmania.
Excellent. So your experience is little over many of our
Age.
actually. Yeah, I have already crossed 55 years. Maybe yoga keeps us young. It's my opportunity. Can I have the... Is there any way I can change the slide? Okay. I will tell you. You can just slide. So since this presentation was intended to be at a hospital, then I'm using few slides which depict the health benefits of yoga. And S-VYASA is known for scientific research. So I'm going to give you some overview of what we have done with respect to the use of yoga, understanding the beneficial effects, including the physiological changes following yoga, to its applications in both health and disease. Can I have the next one? So when we talk about research in yoga, I use this slide most of the time because people ask us, yoga is a very ancient tradition, heritage, etc. Why do you need to do research in it? Certainly it is needed. Our Puja Guruji, he's a scientist, an ME PhD from Indian Institute of Science and worked at NASA, Harvard and other places. He believed that whatever has been our tradition, it is essential for us to convert that into a science using the tools and techniques of the present day. Particularly if we are talking about medicine or medical applications, that's one of the reasons. So imagine if somebody is doing a meditation in a quite natural surrounding. If I bring the same person and put him in a laboratory, put all the electrodes to record his brain functions, the question is asked, can he produce the same effect or same kind of a meditation as he can do it in a quite natural surrounding? Of course, the answer is yes and no. Yes, if he is an accomplished, experienced practitioner, it doesn't matter where he practices. It's no, he cannot produce the same effect if he is a novice, if he is a new person, because the new person requires a lot of supporting tools to do meditation. So understanding the impact of meditation on various functions is very much essential. And today, I'm very happy to say that we do have tools and techniques to record and demonstrate those beneficial effects. Next one. So when we talk of promotion of health and use of or application of yoga in it, we look at these 4 different categories. Number 1, preservation of health through homeostasis. Yoga talks about balance. Homeostasis, what we aim through our medical approach is also to establish or re-establish balance. Wherever there is a derangement, wherever imbalance, we want to put it back to balance. And also the new word which is used extensively today is salutogenesis. Salutogenesis is the discipline which targets on health management rather than disease management. How do you preserve your health is studied through salutogenesis. Second one is how you can use yoga to make an individual perform better if he is healthy. Forget about a diseased person, healthy person, promotion of optimal performance. Performance is not in a sports individual. Performance in every aspect of our life. Can I actually do my day-to-day activities better? Whatever work I am doing, can I deliver better in my profession, etc., can be looked upon. Disease management is the third area where we certainly look at multiple non-communicable diseases as the primary area for using yoga as an intervention, but also chronic diseases. In those cases, we use yoga as an adjuvant along with conventional therapy. And the last one is using as complementary and integrative medical approach. So we are here in a hospital, and as doctors, many of you know that there are occasions where whatever the existing well-established line of treatment can be augmented or improved by using other disciplines or other methodologies. So yoga is one such tool which can be used along with that. Next one. Let me give you some insights about the three main components of yoga which have been researched extensively. Number one is physical activity. Today, yoga has become synonymous with physical activity. In the West, when you talk of yoga, people think of asanas, physical postures. So you go to any yoga studio, nothing more than the physical postures are taught over there. But there is something beyond this physical activity which we can derive from yoga, which is breath work. So breath work involves lots of practices which can manipulate, regulate, voluntarily bring in a change in your breath frequencies as well as its mechanisms. And the third area is the meditation. So these are the three where you can find X amount of research work, and I'm going to give few examples for that. Next one. Though asanas or the physical postures are very well known aspects of yoga, when you look at research, least amount of research is done in asanas. Only around 6% of research studies talk about asana. 24% of research studies look at breath work, while 70% of the research studies talk about meditation. Next one. S-VYASA has brought in huge application-oriented research, and these are some of the publications in healthy individuals, particularly in children, wherever there was a requirement, like how we can improve perception, cognitive functions, performance, as well as special needs. Like there are children with special needs who can be benefited with the practice of yoga. There are studies on that. Whereas in the middle age, there are lots of studies looking at what exactly happens when you do these different practices, asana, pranayama, meditation, and others. While in the elderly, there are many things we can get benefited from the practice of yoga, which includes age-related issues. These are not health, at times these are not health problems, but these are the ones which get changed, and you can, for a good reason, good amount of time, you can reverse them to great extent, like sleep, gait and balance, depression, pulmonary functions, as well as range of neurodegenerative conditions. If these are all preventable conditions. Next one. When you talk of asanas, I always show this picture to ask people a question, that if you bend your body whichever way it is, can you get the similar physiological effects? Okay, like you have two pictures here. On top you have the Bhishma Pitamaha of yoga, B.K. Sayangarji. in a modified Setubandhasana with a prop. Below there is another yogi, intoxicated yogi. So he has tried his best to achieve that similar position. But can we ask the question that because they have bent their body similarly, are the physiological effects are going to be same? The answer is, as we can anticipate and expect, no. Yoga done in the so-called yoga way alone can produce the comprehensive effects and benefits. Otherwise, the physical changes have their own impact on physiological responses. Next one, I am going to just give you one or two more examples here. That's actually a video. I don't know if you can play that if you take on the picture, you can, yeah, that's fine. Let it keep going on. So imagine this is a very well-known practice called Shirshasana, headstand. Anyone who starts doing yoga, at one point of time, they want to stand upside down. Okay, headstand is one of their goals. So we study them this is our laboratory setting where we can check and monitor everything. Imagine when somebody turns upside down, there is a sudden sympathetic arousal. There is an autonomic nervous system, sympathetic and parasympathetic. Sympathetic nervous system is the one which actually prepares us and protects us whenever there is a demanding situation. That's what we also call it as stress and response. So when an individual practices the autonomic response, the sympathetic, heightened sympathetic activity, increased sympathetic activity results in increased heart rate, increased blood pressure, etc. So now we always tell people that if you have hypertension, you have lots of other cardiac issues, don't practice this. But when we did research, not in a hypertension patient, but in normal healthy volunteers, body has got an acclimatization mechanism. If you stand in Shirshasana for over 2 minutes, it varies from individual to individual. In general, I am telling, over 2 minutes, body starts adapting. If there was one student, a BSc student at our university, he was so crazy about Shirshasana. Whenever an event is happening like this, he will come in front and he will stand upside down and he will remain in Shirshasana. For how long? For 3 hours. Okay? So then Guruji said, this guy is a crazy guy. First take him to the laboratory and test. Because tomorrow nothing should happen to him and we will be responsible. We took him to the laboratory. So he is the guy whom we have done the recording. He did it for 30 minutes, 1 hour, 2 hours and 3 hours. Body gets adapted. If you stand in headstand for a longer period, it starts relaxing you. That's so asanas also have been seen as mechanisms to do meditation. In asana you can do meditation. In pranayama you can do meditation. So though initially it has got a stimulating effect, over a period of time the impact will change. Next. Today we have many tools to measure or understand the benefits of asanas. One of it is biomechanics. Biomechanics help us in understanding an individual capacity to perform an asana or a posture. Otherwise, tendency of every individual to do advanced postures resulting in they getting injured is also becoming popular. And Western researchers are also documenting and presenting it as a publication, yoga-based injuries or yoga-based health issues. So it is essential for us to use technology, use different mechanisms like biomechanics in a way whereby we can assess an individual and understand the capability of an individual before administering certain advanced postures. Otherwise, like earlier we had this Guru Shishya Parampara. So gurus used to understand their students very well. So they used to stop, make every student stop at a level and say that, okay, you do only this much for next 10 days. Then only you will take it to the next level. But unfortunately today, there's a lot of it we learn from YouTube. Lots of it we learn from hearing from somebody. So at that stage, you need to understand how you can really know the capability of individuals, and it is possible to measure each and every practice today. Next one. The second component I was talking about was breath work. So there's a lot of correlation what we make between the present day understanding of breath work and the ancient understanding of breath work. So in the ancient understanding, we always talk about the two nadis, Ida and Pingala, the right and the left. So when you breathe in through one particular nostril, which actually is regulated by one particular nadi, has a signature impact on your physiology. Similarly, the other one. So can we correlate it with the modern neuroscience? Certainly, yes. So what you see here is when you actually want to measure or look at the impact of right nostril breathing or a left nostril breathing, it shows very clearly that right nostril breathing is stimulating in nature, while the left nostril breathing is relaxing in nature. Then we have a third practice called alternate nostril breathing, or the Nadi Shodhana Pranayama. You inhale from one, exhale from the other, and inhale from the same and exhale from this side. So that has been shown to be a very balancing practice. Right nostril can be used in conditions where you need a kind of arousing mechanism, stimulating mechanism. In depression, it's very good practice. In obesity, it's a very good practice. We make people do 27 rounds 4 times a day as a practice, as part of the yoga practice for all obesity patients. And we were doing some measurements. When we did right nostril breathing study, the oxygen consumption has been shown to increase significantly when you do simple right nostril breathing. So you know oxygen consumption depicts the metabolic cost of an individual. How much of an oxygen you are, at a cellular level you are consuming for doing an activity. So right nostril breathing is shown to increase oxygen consumption, while left nostril breathing has been shown to decrease it. So now how nice it is. You don't need to go to a gym or you don't need to go to a fitness center. Sit in your corner of a room, just hold your left nostril and inhale and exhale through right nostril. Okay? It's not as simple as that. It can be one of the facilitating practice. So when you have obesity, you have to take care of your lifestyle, you have to take care of your diet, you have to take care of your stress and many other things. So, but this can add value to your therapy when you really want to work on obesity. Next one. So this is what I was talking about, the right and the left nostril breathing. Several studies are there, not even few of them what I have mentioned, and there are applications worked out like for right nostril obesity, depression, attention deficit hyperactive disorder in children, to left nostril working on anxiety neurosis to hypertension. Next one. We also see what exactly happens to your brain when you do these right and left nostril breathing. So many people ask the question, when I do right nostril, is it going to influence the right side of the brain or the left side of the brain? We had done enough studies on that. This is a study using evoke potentials, basically doing EEG. And what we do, we average EEG, whereby the click or the sound what we are using as a stimulus, the response to it can be tracked across the different areas of the brain. So some are at the brain stem level, some are at the thalamocortical levels, and some are the association, means the higher brain centers. So when we saw that, it was very interesting to say that electrical activity of the brain is influenced on the same side. When you do right nostril, the electrical activity is influenced on the right side, while the left nostril can influence the left side. Can you go to the next? But surprisingly, when we saw, next one, the blood flow changes in the brain. So when any activity has to happen, so there must be glucose utilization in the brain, that part of the brain which is involved in it. Okay, so we can measure it using either a PET, which is a gold standard, or we can measure using a functional MRI, bold changes, Or we can also use a much simpler equipment called functional near-infrared spectroscopy. So we use functional near-infrared spectroscopy to study blood flow changes in the brain. So this suggested, interestingly, the contralateral influence. So when you do right nostril, the influence on the left hemisphere, while the left nostril can influence on the right hemisphere. This is not a conclusive evidence to say that yes, electrical activity and blood flow changes can be different. For electrical activity to happen, there is an activity. If there is an activity, there must be blood flow changes or oxygen or particularly utilization of glucose. So there are many things happening which we can measure today very clearly, and we can understand and also look for applications. Next one. There's another technique, the fast breathing technique. One practice called Kapalabhati. Okay, you do like, okay. There's another technique called Bastrika. Okay, Bastrika you do very aggressive, fast inhalation as well as exhalation. So these are more like high frequency yoga breathing techniques. When you do high frequency yoga breathing technique, it can have a significant impact on the blood flow to the brain. So we have done transcranial Doppler studies to understand, because there were some publications talking about dangers associated with these practices. So whether somebody is with a hypertension, etc., he should not practice these because it can result in a stroke, it can result in any other issue associated with the brain. So we did a couple of studies in this demonstrating that when you do these fast breathing techniques, it can actually increase the pulsatility index of the blood vessel. So basically it offers resistance for the flow of blood. So now you have to be really careful when you really advocate certain techniques to people, and where you should use them should be very clear. Otherwise what happens, there can be, not necessarily because of yoga somebody will have a health issue, but it can be because of the wrong way of doing a particular practice resulting in a health issue. So meditation is the third last one what I was mentioning. Meditation, there are hundreds of meditation techniques. Okay, if you ask have we studied everything, it's impossible, because it was said that anything can be a meditation. Guruji always keeps mentioning sitting, eating, drinking, walking, everything can be meditation. Today people also use the word mindfulness. Mindful eating, mindful walking, mindful, etc. So meditation is one of the activity which should naturally happen, which should become a baseline for you, on which you operate and on which you work. So there are few techniques studied, like there is meditation on Om. There is another technique called cyclic meditation, which is developed on the basis of Mandukya Upanishad, which talks about stimulation followed by relaxation as a best method to take you to deeper levels of relaxation. Imagine if somebody is not tired enough, you ask them to sleep, they won't get sleep. Somebody who is a physical laborer, you don't need to ask them to sleep. They just come, you allow them to sit, they will sleep. So when there is stimulation, body demands relaxation. If you don't allow your body to relax, it causes lots of health issues. Similarly, when you can induce that through this practice of cyclic meditation, it demonstrated that it can reduce oxygen consumption by 32%. This talks about the level of relaxation what you can get with this practice. When you sleep, your oxygen consumption reduces by 9%. Okay, so on an average, it brings it down, and once again next day morning you are back to normalcy with your activities. So that's a natural mechanism. At the same time, it can also keep your attention very much active, and it can also help in improving your cognitive functions. Next one. So this is a summary slide, don't need to go into too much of details of this. This I use it whenever I talk about the neuroscience behind meditation. Different meditation techniques on one side, and which part of the brain will be activated when you do meditation. So this is based on multiple studies. I have summarized that, some working at the brain stem level, some working at the hypothalamic level, some working at the emotion cortex level, okay, wherever we have regulations, and some working at the higher brain function level. Next one. So this is another study where we used another technique called functional MRI to understand the blood flow changes in the brain during meditation. Meditation is not just one step, okay? We know that there are phases in meditation. We call it as Chanchalata, Ekagrata, Dharana and Dhyana. Random thinking, focused attention, then intense focusing and state of defocusing. So these 4 states have to be involved. I mean, you have to go through 4 of them to reach meditation and then to go to samadhi. So next one please. So this suggested very clearly, meditation actually, rather than stimulating many parts of the brain, it actually inhibits or shuts off these disturbing influences across the brain first. Then actually it stimulates only selected portions of the brain. Like there is a part of the brain called frontal lobe, and there are attentional processes regulated in the frontal lobe. There are areas called the anterior cingulate, dorsolateral prefrontal cortex, etc. These are the areas which hold on to your attentional processes. So consistently, this is not just one study of ours. There are around 25 to 30 studies using a functional MRI. Each one of them have concluded the same thing, saying that attentional processes have been kept active. Next one. Is it only the function of the brain which changes? Not necessarily. Even the structure of the brain can be modified with the practice of yoga. This was very earlier study conducted by one of the American scientists. After that, there are around dozens of studies have come looking at structural changes in the brain. The cortical thickness, cortex is that gray matter of the brain, which actually is most important for us to hold on to our activity. Like the aging associated cognitive decline is certainly associated with that. So if there are changes structurally in the brain, that can probably help us in preventing lots of aging related issues, maybe on one side, and number 2, also help in rehabilitation. That's what we have looked, and there are areas and details here. Next one. The second part or the last part, what I wanted to just touch upon is also its application. We know that there is asana, pranayama, meditation, etc. And it's not like any one of them you practice. Some might practice one of them, but you always combine them. You start with some loosening, then you do some asana, then you do relaxation, then pranayama and meditation. So where do you use them? One of the application is therapeutic benefits. Next one. So out of this, there are lots of publications, research work done on non-communicable diseases, NCDs. 52% of research publications are NCDs, while there are 14% of publications coming on women health, and pain management is the other one, along with rehabilitation. Next. So S-VYASA itself has contributed to multiple areas like this. So we have worked extensively on bronchial asthma, type 2 diabetes and cancer in non-communicable diseases. Women health, once again, pregnancy related outcomes on one side to polycystic ovarian disease, etc. Pain management, of course, I have picked only 2 of them here, back pain and migraine, while rehabilitation includes multiple areas like cardiac rehab, neuro rehab and psychiatric rehab and sports rehab. Next. So this is one study I thought of mentioning it to you. When we take up studies at S-VYASA, these are very extensive. We do a nationwide surveys and studies first, like diabetes study what we did. Pan-India prevalence study was conducted, followed by clinical trials, which includes feasibility trial, then efficacy trial and a randomized control trial. because this is what the world looks at. Can yoga be studied the same way as modern medicine? Yes, we can do that, there is no issue, but there could be some small little limitations. If you do randomized control trial with a double-blind or triple-blind study, can you say that the person who is given intervention should not be knowing what intervention they are getting? So if you say that you are giving yoga to a person and you hope that they don't know that this is yoga, so this is not going to happen realistically. But of course, you can make a randomized control trial for sure, which is accepted. That's the reason how yoga studies have been published in journals like British Medical Journal. The first ever publication of S-VYASA in 1986 was in British Medical Journal on bronchial asthma. Then, of course, mechanistic studies, etc. Next one. So this is the prevalence study. To our surprise, diabetes is not increasing in the elderly population. As you can see, in the young population, somewhere between 25 to 35 years, the prevalence of diabetes is increasing significantly. Of course, this data is from India, in the age group of 25 to 35. This is really alarming. Okay, and next one. Now, before talking about using yoga in diabetes management, we do some basic research. We are done in yoga practitioners. By practicing yoga, can you really increase insulin sensitivity? Because in diabetes, what happens? Insulin resistance is one of the major problems. So, before talking about reducing insulin resistance, can you improve insulin sensitivity? So, this particular study, next one, was done to understand using a very standard mechanism, methodology, euglycemic hyperinsulinemic clamp in yoga practitioners, that demonstrated that insulin sensitivity was much higher in yoga practitioners compared to the non-yoga practitioners. That's the preventive value of yoga. If you practice yoga, your insulin sensitivity is high, so probably even though body produces as much insulin as needed or not, then you can manage it very well. In another study, interestingly, we have recorded individuals with 80% beta cell dysfunction, 80% I'm talking about, 20% functional beta cells, they could manage without medication. So what happens is you empower your body to utilize, sensitize those receptors to make your body use the available resources to manage your own health. Next one. This is another study. We did it with University of Nottingham in at S-VYASA as well as in University of Nottingham in UK. So this study was a feasibility study looking at, can you introduce yoga-based intervention for rural population in India? Because we know that, yes, yoga has become an elite activity. Okay, so only those who feel that they are financially sound, they are rich. Yoga has become a kind of a fancy thing for many people. But for rural population, they may not even think that yoga can help them or cure any or manage any issue like this. So this feasibility study helped in understanding that there is a possibility of actually bringing this kind of a lifestyle change even in a rural population. So this was once again a MRC and Wellcome Trust funded project, and in India run by the Center for Chronic Disease Control. Next one. We did another study looking at the mechanism, how we are talking about yoga can help diabetes patients. There are quite a few changes, problems associated with challenges. One, I was talking about insulin resistance and sensitivity. Second one is there is something called acute phase insulin release. Okay, so basically, whenever you consume sugar, your body has to release insulin. And there is an acute initial phase during which it should happen. If it is not happening, then that is an indication that your mechanism is not working. So with a yoga-based study, we could demonstrate that the acute phase insulin release can be reset. So if we can do that, we can prevent individuals from pre-diabetes getting into diabetes. That's huge value what probably can be added. Next one. We also went into some of the mechanisms. So in diabetes, what also happens is a DNA damage. So associated DNA damage. So we looked at, can we mitigate the DNA damage in type 2 diabetes? Answer is certainly yes. This study demonstrated that we can probably do this and also use the same methodology for bringing an application in other conditions like maybe chronic diseases like either a COPD or even Alzheimer's. Next. Then you seriously want to look at, okay, I can use yoga as a mechanism in managing diabetes. The biggest problem today is lifestyle change is not sustainable. 1 month everyone will come and do yoga. 3 months the frequency will reduce. After 6 months they are back to medication. Okay, nothing wrong from anybody because that's the time demanded. Like you have to wake up or you have to dedicate some time every day for an activity like this. So we certainly wanted to create a sustainable model. Can I make yoga as a shorter capsules? Like morning you do around 20 minutes of physical activity and relaxation. Evening you do around 15 minutes of pranayama and meditation. Can that work? So this was a huge study in 2,000 patients. And this study demonstrated it produces quite similar results as that of doing a 1 hour yoga in the morning. These are what interesting facts for us. Even we had our own doubts. But probably we need to do more research to understand its impacts. Next one. Other area, once again, as I was mentioning, last one is chronic disease. So 2 conditions are the pain management and cancer. Next one. Pain management, there are multiple studies conducted. One important area is migraine headache. Migraine headache is a devastating condition. I myself have gone through that. And of course, my wife comes from an Ayurveda field. So with an integrative medical approach, with last around 22 years now, I never had even a single episode of migraine. So that's the kind of integrative approach what we can bring through yoga, Ayurveda, naturopathic medicine, etc. So we did this one particular study. Next one. We demonstrated that practicing yoga for 6 months along with Ayurvedic treatment can help, next one, individuals to manage their migraine significantly. Next. And this was also demonstrated both symptomatically as well as through some indices of muscle activity. Next. So multiple mechanisms were looked upon. So whenever we take up any of these studies, we go through textbook referential tools and mechanisms for understanding the impact of yoga. So some of the very well established mechanisms in migraine headache were picked and studied, and we have answers for most of them today. Next. And the last one is cancer, as I mentioned. We have a huge collaborative study with MD Anderson Cancer Center attached with University of Texas in Houston. So we have been working with them for the last 2 decades, 20 years. And we had many studies. One of them looked at how yoga can augment or how yoga can facilitate improving good quality of life in cancer patients. And another study looked at how yoga can reduce the side effects associated with chemo and radiation. So we are not talking about yoga can cure cancer or anything, which we should never claim. Okay, what should happen is how you can create an environment whereby even the allopathic treatment, whatever is being given, can work better. Okay, so that's what we have looked in MD Anderson Cancer Center. Next one. So next, So there are multiple studies. Many of them are funded by NIH in America. So this looked at the immune outcomes, various indices. Next. And also its impact on symptomatology as well as some hormonal changes including cortisol and fatigue levels. Next. So when we look at the chronic diseases, we had many questions. Can you really bring in a huge change irrespective of what is needed? Okay, so then we took up this last important study which was done in Antarctica. So this study actually looked at how the whole human genome can be understood when they are put against a challenging environment in Antarctica. Next one. So this gives you an idea how the study was done in a challenging environment like in Antarctica. They are our yoga practitioners and researchers. There were around 40 plus researchers from India. India has 3 laboratories in Antarctica. So these laboratories cater to lots of research in Antarctica. So particularly we did in 2 of these laboratories, Maitri and Bharati. And researchers stay there for different periods. One is for a winter session, which is for a longer period, summer session, which is for a shorter period. We had taken up, we did it in collaboration with the Defense Research Development Organization, DPAS, and we developed modules, 2 modules, one for seasickness because these people travel for 1.5 months in sea from Cape Town to Antarctica, and one module for the practice at Antarctica. This is for the first time yoga was practiced on the glaciers of Antarctica, and all the researchers. We started from Indian labs, and then it was spread across around 35 labs, including Australia, Russia, and several others. But of course, each lab is spread across around 150 kilometers or 200 kilometers. Choppers used to come and pick our yoga masters, and they were going from one place to another teaching yoga. So today, yoga has become an integral part of Antarctica expedition. That's the wonderful contribution what S-VYASA has made. Next one. So this is these are just the results of it. Next. This talks about how yoga can reset the clock, okay, genetic clock of an individual. So basically, there is one particular gene which regulates your hair and skin called keratin gene. Which appeared to be have extincted because we are not living in any jungle and any other place we are challenged. We live in a regulated environment. For our surprise, the keratin gene expression got increased by 300 folds. So now imagine ancient times, these yoga masters used to sit in the caves of Himalayas or sit in jungles, and they had no health issues, no problems. They lived for 100 years, 200 or 2000 years. How they could do that? So body, they were making body, creating an environment whereby whatever is needed was expressed. So in Antarctica, because you are exposed to cold environment, your body, your skin has to become thick, and hair protects your skin. So the keratin gene expression has gone up to 300-fold. So probably that's the beauty of yoga. Whether we are studying it or not, yoga can bring in such changes which are needed for us. Last one. This is a summary of research publications from 1948 to 2025. There are over 8,000 publications in the world. I'm talking about yoga. Next one. Out of which 1,500 publications come from this one university in India called S-VYASA. So we hold as much as little over 12% of world literature on yoga. Next. And I'm always thankful to many people. but because the goal is this, we look at those positive outcomes. What we aim in life is given to us, like we want to remain physically strong, mentally relaxed, yet focused. We want to emotionally balanced and intellectually powerful. If we have all this, we will be disease free. Okay, so if any of them are lacking, so it will impact our stress and then result in lots of issues. Next. So I'm thankful to several people who have contributed to this, whatever publications you saw here. This is just an indication of all those researchers who have worked with S-VYASA, but not limited to. And the first two people you see there, our Puja Guruji and Dr. Nagaratna, who is a medical doctor who heads our research, our Arogya Dham, or the hospital, MBBS, MD, FRCP, etc., was in UK, decided that integrative medicine is the future of medicine, and she joined Puja Guruji and then created this whole evidence-based approach for yoga therapy, and today for integrative medicine. The third person you see, the director of National Institute of Mental Health and Neurosciences in Bengaluru. We have a very strong collaboration for a range of mental health related conditions, and he is also the chairman of National Medical Commission at present. And Dr. Lorenzo Cohen is the collaborator from United States of America, and many others. All others are from S-VYASA laboratories. Thank you very much. I took a little longer time than I thought I should express it.
Questions can be asked now?
Yeah, if you have any questions, feel free to ask. No problem. Yeah, please.
I just want to know, you spoke about diabetes type 2. In case, can it work for diabetes type 1, like juvenile diabetes? If they practice, can that young students generally, like my one student got at the age of 4. So can this help them?
See, very early age, you cannot introduce yoga to particularly children. And what we have seen is the effective practice comes only after 7 to 8 years of age, when they can start understanding, they can start practicing. But keeping that as the limitation, then we have studied type 1. I have not presented the data because still the latest publications are coming. Yes, you can help them. Yes, they can get benefited. But I don't have all those answers and mechanisms what I can give for type 2 diabetes at this point of time, because we have started now the extensive research in type 1 diabetes. Yes, the initial results are very promising and it can benefit them. Please.
Understanding the yoga, many people who are like friends, relatives of us, most of them don't sink the yoga into their system by questioning logically. Then fast breathing can take us to hallucinations. For example, a well-known doctor, a friend of mine, when I tried to present to them that these are the things yoga can do changes to me, he told no, this is not logically correct. A system, they try to dissect the information into, with the help of this research, can we bring up some kind of application or something to to provide the data for them, so that people stop using the shortcuts for their mental treatments like drinks or something, rather than they will go for a long-term therapies like this. In a few months or few years down the line, the institution can support us with some application which can.
Very true. See, finally, the goal of yoga is to take any individual to that state. You are blissful. Okay? People resort to different. Either somebody resort to substance use, somebody resorts to different methods and methodologies to have heightened feeling. Okay? So, yoga always facilitates that an individual to remain away from distractions and reach a state of blissful awareness. The only difference between, as I was showing that posture example, somebody doing with awareness, somebody doing without awareness. In yoga, you can reach the same state. Many of the practices can help you to reach a state of meditative bliss. At the same time, you are aware. You know how to come back. You know how to operate being there. For that, talking to them, telling them is not going to help. They need this. They need the data and they need experience. So that's the reason why we say that evidence-based approach is very essential, because otherwise people relate yoga always to some ancient practice, okay, where you should not ask questions, you should simply do it. Certainly not. Everything should be questioned. Our ancient methodology was question-based. Anything you have, you should question and you get an answer to it. And today we have techniques and tools to answer them. What we do basically, many such people are students or any of them who come there, when they have questions and doubts, we take them to the laboratory and we tell them, okay, you want to really ensure that the thought processes have been brought down to the minimal. You want to test it, you come to the lab. We do the same thing. First, we make them do fast breathing. Then we make them relax. Then we make them hold their breath for a fractions of seconds. When you do this breath holding, then absolutely, even if you make an attempt to think, you cannot think. That's the beauty. There's one particular yogic, this thing talks about it. The thought process is always connected with the speed of your breath. Okay? Faster your breathing, faster your thought processes are. Slower your breathing, slower your thought processes. You hold your breath, nothing moves. Chale vate chale chittam nischalam nischalo bhavet yogis tanutvam apnoti dhado vayu nirodayet, it is said. That's the beauty of demonstrating the impact of yoga today. I can simply put EEG electrodes and I can make an individual to see the electrical activity is almost coming to bare minimum. So that's the positivity of it.
Any other question?
But testimony. I'm a major prince shows. I'm a OBJ Kagalgor veteran. I was assaulting a height and I was hit by a splinter. I fell down 300 feet and I put out my spine in 3 places: C4, C5, L4, L5 and L5S1. So there I went to allopathic way. All they could give me was some painkillers. And then my sister is an Ayurveda practitioner. She graduated from Pavia University in Italy. She's a practicing doctor there, and she's also practicing Ayurveda there. I was under her care for a decade or so. So from being bedridden, I could actually walk about. But then I was a paracommando myself. I'm a special forces officer. So I wanted to go back to that life of adventure and everything back. So Ayurveda, in a way, it took me onto a recovery stage. But then I wanted to go a step ahead. That's when I found my friend, Shivakumar. He's also from Kannada. He's based out of Kannada. And he's a super yoga practitioner. Yeah, now I'll try and connect him with you, sir. And he took him in my employee. He supported me, and the yoga practices that he did. Otherwise, from being bedridden, I was like I could sit on the chair for maybe 2 hours or something. I couldn't. The back pain was constant and it was persistent. You see, and then with this help, I could reverse the entire thing so back that I'm back to all those adventure things that I used to do in army. I'm a deep sea diver. I'm a skydiver. And in skydive, actually, when you have to land on both legs. It gives this thing to the, yes, exactly. So had I stayed the allopathy, I mean modern medicine way, the only solace, and I've got, we are 7 in the family, 5 are in medical grounds, medical field, and then maybe we have got with my nieces and nephews, we have got around 14 doctors, modern practicing modern medicine. Most of them are in UK. So we have got so many in my family. But what modern medicine could give in the form of solace is actually some pumping in some painkillers. That's it. But the holistic healing, and really it healed. That's the beauty of it. It really healed, and he made me lay on the plaque and do certain yoga, the thing which I'm still continuing. My friend Shivmar, he's also from my school. I graduated from Sainik school, so he's also from my school. And then this, what has happened with me, and whatever I say is on record. You know, like after of Sindoor, nobody would believe that, you know, Indian Army guys can bluff. No, we don't bluff. Whatever I said now, I can show in documents. This, I'm 75% disabled as per Army standards. That's how I had to come out from the Army. I was 75% disabled because I was hit by a splinter in while assaulting a height called Sando. This is next to Tiger Hill in Obijay in Kargil War, and I fell 300 feet. I was unconscious for half an hour, and then I revived. That's when I booted my 3 spines. Okay, so I thought I would testify this. You know, this. So, and also I think that answers your query as well. You know, the taste of this thing is, you know, the pudding is in tasting and not everything else. Yeah, yes, exactly.
Whenever we see any person from armed forces, we all get energized. Okay, that's number 1. And number 2, somebody who believes in themselves and they believe that there's always a way back, and you can be as normal and you can do all that what you want to do in your life. They are the achievers. So sir requires a big round of applause. He is certainly a testimony, not just for the use of yoga and Ayurveda, but also for that wonderful belief system. We always say that each system of medicine has got its own amazing strength. Okay? So what we believe in it is to complementing and integrating with other systems of medicine. Be it allopathy, be it Ayurveda, be it naturopathic medicine or any other system of medicine.
Sorry, I just had to add one little more there regarding the diagnosis. You see, when actually the modern medicine was very superlative in diagnosing the thing. When they took the MRI, everything they could see in the radiologist could see in the sheet. But when I went to the Ayurvedic practitioner, he would just run his finger on my spine like this. Sorry,
No.
spine like this, and he would say, "Yeah." I kept desperately as a secret that I have got these problems before I went to him. So he would run his fingers and he would say, I've got C4, C5, L5S1 and L4S1. Oh my God, I was gone. I mean, these things are there.
No, this is certainly, that's what we are trying to do. Not only in yoga, but also in Ayurveda research. We are trying to develop or use, bring in this kind of evidence-based approach. See, what happens is so much of knowledge available earlier in our Ayurvedic system of medicine or even yoga and other systems. What happens is over a period of time, if this is not transferred to the next generation, this amazing technology, the knowledge of technology will be lost. Earlier, great Ayurveda physicians, just looking at the pulse, Nadi, they were able to diagnose anything. We don't need any MRI or do anything. And if you are walking into their room, that is sufficient. They will see you and they will tell, okay, sit, I know what your problems are. But what happens is, over a period of time, we have lost the people with this kind of exceptional abilities. That doesn't mean that we should not believe in them. Okay, what is happening is now once again technology is coming, and Ayurveda practitioners are developing some tools whereby in future this great science should not be forgotten. So then you can always connect and link these two aspects in future. That's a great experience sharing what you did, sir. Many congratulations for your own experience and experiment. So without taking much time, I thank each one of you for your patient hearing, and I'm sure I could throw some light on evidence-based approach in yoga to all of you. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Dr. Manjunath. And it was not some, but an eye-opener that how science and the medical can be connected with yoga. Because yes, it's a very common myth among us individual that yoga is just exercise. Some say it's a breathing exercise, some say it's a physical exercise, but they connect yoga with exercise. But how much it can affect health scientifically, really, that has to come to knowledge of many people, and we really need such more seminars and such like these videos to be circulated so people get aware of it. Thank you so much for highlighting on it. And this seminar was conducted in a joint collaboration with NavBharat and HILAL Hospital, the HILAL Multi-Speciality Medical Center, having 9 branches in Bahrain. And now I would like to request Dr. Gautam, who is native from Karnataka and is here connected with HILAL Hospital from 2023, working as a neonatal intensive care unit specialist. Dr. Gautam, please.
Speaking in front of all the dignitaries is really tough. I'm sure that you had a lot of information from sir already. But I would like to share my personal journey so that it makes sense. So back in 2019, I was a guy who always rejects yoga and indulge in the other practices to have a simple relaxations, like moving on with friends outside and all those things. Certain point of time I realized that that doesn't make sense. So I started with a very simple practice, like a meditation, which is just for 5 minutes. Very, very simple meditation, and I was doing it just every day. At one point of time, it just blasted. It just made a sound, like a 100x Thai massage. So then I realized, oh, daily I'm doing the same thing, just a small thing, and it can change completely. Like, experience is not the same thing every day. So then I thought, oh, we have to do more of it, and it changed my approach to the yoga, and now I practice daily yoga, and I'm far from those things what I used to do for my day-to-day relaxations and all those things, and I have become a better human being. So I can connect it scientifically, I can connect it through experientially, and I can also try to share my things with my colleagues. And so we have been regularly doing yoga programs in HILAL, and I really want everyone to taste it somewhere in their life. The earlier the better, so that they can become definitely 10x of their versions or 100x of their versions, and contribute more to the people around them. See, the best way to contribute better around us is being better ourselves. When you're better by yourself, you are half less problem, and definitely around you feel better. They think positive when you are positive. So I want certain things to make from my experience that yoga is not a destination. It is a journey. It is a ride. And the earlier you start, the better you can experience the life what we call it as a life. Normally, we don't challenge ourselves in a day-to-day routine. For example, if you challenge an athlete who is daily practicing 100-meter run or 500-meter run, if you offer certain type of food, he doesn't accept it because he knows how it can impact the performance. Suppose if you see any high-performance people, they are in a different level of societies, but they won't accept the normal day-to-day life what we are living. But when you do yoga, I'll say, for example, Surya Namaskar, you are bending the same way every day. But when you consume certain type of foods, you cannot bend. When you eat drink certain type of beverages, you cannot do the pose as involved as before yesterday. That tells you that what is working for you, what is not working for you. So that makes you very sensitive with simple practices. You need not to be a high-performance person to understand this thing. You can just simple practice yoga, a simple asana, which will make you sensible to surroundings around you and help you to understand what is working, what is not working. And that naturally indulges into the natural lifestyle, healthy lifestyle. You don't need any kind of dietitian or any kind of specializations to understand these things. So with this, it's been very great experience what Sir has told. I hope one day it will reach everyone, especially the younger generation. Sir was telling younger generation is becoming diabetic. So younger generation is already logically answering why I should do this, why I should not do this. So I hope that generation gets the message as early as possible, and it will cause a big impact in the society. And probably over the 10 years or 20 years, we can see the reduction in diabetes incidences. And also we will see everyone practicing yoga. And definitely it will reach the world. It should reach the next generation. And, it should make us all better tomorrow. Thank you, sir. Thanks.
Thank you so much, Dr. Gautam. Yes, very well said, that you cannot know the value until you experience it. Yes. And today's generation, yes, very much important for them, because even we can see stress in the student who are in the grade 8, 10th or 12th. You see how much the pressure of studies, board exams, everything. So very well, and then they take the wrong directions also. So it could be a guide for them. It could be like we can bring our coming generation a stronger one if we are able to guide. And as what Dr. Manjunath has said, that if we are not going to take it forward, there will be the link, that bridge, that Setu will break. So it's our responsibility to take it forward, and we need to join hands for this. Now is high time to invite Guruji on the stage. Guruji, Padmashri Dr. H.R. Nagendra, the founder, Chancellor, President of S-VYASA University, Bengaluru. Sir, please.
My dear brothers and sisters, already I have heard from Dr. Manjunath the whole dimensions as to how we have to bring in complementary and integrative health to the modern ailments. Question comes as to why we have to bring in yoga, Ayurveda, or other dimensions, because allopathic system had made such great strides, fantastic achievements. In the last century, we were able to deal with infectious, contagious diseases and brought antibiotics and whatnot. And we were able to bring tremendous growth. Therefore, the WHO was so enthused that will bring health for all by 2000. That was the condition. But what happened? As we entered into the last phase of our last century, we find that NCDs started developing in a very big way and has become the biggest challenge today to the allopathic system. And in spite of all the achievements that have been very powerful pharmacological interventions and large number of surgical interventions, we will be able to give the relief, but we have no solution to cure these diseases. Once a diabetic, ever a diabetic. Once you get cancer, days of number have come to pass. No? Why this has happened? In spite of all the achievements, why this has happened? No? Because I consider the reason is the knowledge base. The knowledge base that we have in modern science, which is the base for allopathic system, is limited to the physical world. No? Therefore, anything physical, we have a big success. Putting man on the moon, building skyscrapers, underwater tunnels, information technology, everything we have done effectively. But science is in a turning point to go beyond towards the subtle and causal dimensions of the universe. To understand what is this which you call as prana, no? And what is it to call as mind, emotions, intellect, consciousness, and such things. Into this region of subtlety and causality, the science is moving. Therefore, any challenge related to this aspect, we have no solution, because our knowledge base is hardly existing there. And modern NCDs belong to this category. They are not merely physical. Psychological conflict, mental challenges, and deep-rooted psychological conflicts, all are at the base of the modern NCDs. Not merely physical. It was only physical, we would have solved it. Therefore, you need a science, an understanding of the whole universe. Physical level, mental level, emotional level, intellectual level, dimensions. If you have that knowledge, then that can deal with that. That's what yoga and Ayurveda and all systems provide us. According to yoga, we are not merely the physical beings. This is called the Annamaya Kosha, physical body. Then we have the Pranamaya Kosha, Manomaya Kosha, Vijnanamaya Kosha, Anandamaya Kosha. Like that we have 5 layers. And prana, mind, emotions, intellect, and bliss, all these things. And the challenges for NCD start in the Manomaya Kosha as an imbalance. Uncontrolled speed of mind is the root cause. So now we have become very brilliant, very sharp, intelligent, creative, faster mind, faster mind, faster mind, faster mind. That we have grown. But Patanjali says, in gaining the mastery over the mind, there is a second dimension. You must learn how to calm down the mind, silence the mind, tranquil the mind, go deeper and deeper into regions of silence. This has to be done. But we have not done that. As a result, we have grown gigantic on one front and the pygmy on the other thing. Big imbalance. That imbalance percolates down into the physical system, the PNI axis, psychoneuroimmunology and other dimensions start coming and hitting the immune system and others. So that imbalance is the root cause. That we call as stress. Stress is not merely physical. Stress works at the deeper level, at the mind level, comes down to the prana level, and intellectual level, everything is there. Stress is a very complicated, multi-dimensional challenge. And that is the root cause of all the NCDs. So, what we address is the holistic dimension in yoga. Because yoga is not merely physical. We have Gnana Yoga, Raja Yoga, Bhakti Yoga, Karma Yoga, 4 streams. It works at the intellectual level, the mental level, emotional level, and the physical level. It works at all the levels and brings that. It corrects the imbalances and brings the balance. Samatvam yoga uchyate, as it is said, bringing balance. Homeostasis is restored in the whole encounter. So, this is the one that we started applying to examine whether really it can deal with these ailments. And as Dr. Manjunath said, we started working on this 40 years back and started bringing evidence base to plausibility. Our first publication, which got published in British Medical Journal, 1986, Yoga for Bronchial Asthma, in which we have shown that if you use this integrated approach of yoga therapy, you can deal with bronchial asthma very effectively. It was a 4.5-year study in which we had a randomized controlled trial. And we followed up for 4.5 years, and we showed wonderful results using the yoga dimension. Then we had a longer study, and 660 patients of bronchial asthma. They are followed up for 4.5 years, and we have shown that all these people will gradually normalize themselves. Then recently, 3 years back, we did a pan-India study in diabetes. Niyantrita Bharat, 2.5 lakh people we did throughout India in all the districts, and we found out what is the prevalence. Unfortunately, the prevalence of diabetes had doubled. It used to be 4 to 5% in rural areas, now it has become 9 to 10%. Urban areas to be 9-10%, it has gone up to 18, 19, 20% in India. And here in Bahrain, it's about 15% of diabetes. Similarly, hypertension also has started increasing. All these things have started become the biggest challenge. Imagine the amount of financial burden that takes place because of these things in the country. Therefore, our whole approach should be for prevention of diseases, promotion of positive health, and to deal with ailments. So we have to use an integrative system. That is what we have been promoting, and we started doing this integrative medicine, starting with using yoga, which is easily acceptable, and gradually dimensions of Ayurveda and homeopathy and other things have started coming up. And more research is coming up today, and we are continuing this dimension. So we need today a healthcare delivery system which is holistic, which is very effective, which is having evidence base with least side effects and cost effective. This is the requirement of the healthcare delivery system that we need today. That is being provided by bringing yoga. Recognizing this, our Honorable Prime Minister now has brought yoga in a very big measure by International Day of Yoga. Yoga should be practiced by a large number of people. What it needs is regularly half an hour of practice, of 1 hour practice. And if you start doing that, you can prevent diseases. Similarly, over the last 30, 40 years, we have been able to develop specific yoga modules for different ailments, different conditions, different severities. Many people do not recognize this. They think yoga is yoga and give this. I ask the question, can you say that medicine is medicine and give the same medicine to everybody? That's the ignorance. Therefore, we have to know how much yoga we have to give, what yoga we have to give, and how long it has to be given, and what are the negative effects. Everything has to be done. You must have a proper protocol of the yoga practice. How much of asana, pranayama, mudras, bandhas, kriyas, and food things, everything has to be tailor-made. This is what we have developed. We have found there are 2 dimensions that we work on. One is the general technique to reduce the stress levels, increasing the relaxation component, calming down aspect of it. That's the general thing that we do. But specifically, we have special techniques that we have developed this thing. So in our 600-bed facility that we have in Prashanti Kutiram, our campus, now we deal all these things, bring them. So when our patients come from morning, 5 o'clock, 4:30, they start doing the yoga practice. They have got morning asanas, then pranayama, meditation, everything. And we tailor-make the specific things for each of these ailments. Initially, it used to be essentially yoga, but now we have added on dimensions of naturopathy, Ayurveda, physiotherapy, acupuncture, now all under one roof, available along with allopathic system. Without losing all the advantages that we have the allopathic system, we add on this dimension. In a general hospital like this, when people come, okay, they are taken care of, consultant, doctors will give the things, you give the medicine, if needed surgery, everything. Afterwards, they don't do anything. Whereas in our integrative medical system that we have developed, from morning 5 o'clock up to night 10 o'clock, they are giving complete thing. Therefore, they work at all the levels, at the body level, at the prana level, at the mind level, emotional level, and bring the restore homeostasis. So it will give wonderful results. This is what we have been doing, and this is what has to be done. So we started using this in many of the hospitals. We have Narayan Hudare, a cardiac center, in which people, after surgery, they come, and when they are lying down on the bed, we develop special technique which can be used, which will give result. So even while lying down on the bed, they will be able to use such techniques which will be very, very effective. We developed this and call them as advanced techniques of yoga. We have got pranic energization technique, mind sound resonance technique, mastering the emotions technique, Vijnana Sadhana Kaushala, and Ananda Amrit Sanjay. Like that, 7 techniques we developed. This can be done even lying down on the bed. So this is how we will be able to work at different levels to bring in this aspect. This all has been brought forth, and the results have been very fascinating. And people who were almost declared dead, they have come here, they have completely rejuvenated themselves, and then lived for 15, 20 years. And this is going on. Every week there is a miracle. People come in stretchers and they go walking. People come in wheelchairs, they go running up the stairs. And such things do happen. This shows how much of inner potential we have. We have to bring it out. Why they are not brought out? Because we are all having this covered by the stress dimension. If you reduce the stress, the divinity is going to get manifested. So this is the whole basis on which we are doing this thing. So we want to bring this knowledge base all over, and we started this in AIMS, Delhi. That's the premier institute in Delhi, as we know. And about 15 years back, we started an advanced center for the integrative medical research. Initially, we started with only cardiology department and the gastrointestinal department, only 2 departments. And then the results have started coming. Therefore, today, all the 24 departments in AIMS, Delhi, have adopted this yoga dimension. And we started doing randomized controlled trials and started publishing papers. Nearly 35 research papers have been published by the premier institute, AIMS, Delhi. Similarly, NIMHANS, National Institute of Mental Health and Neurosciences, which is dealing with all the mental challenges. And we started this Center for Integrative Medicine in NIMHANS, in which we started bringing this dimension. And similarly, the healthcare global, cancer, we have brought out this dimension. So in all the bigger hospitals, we started bringing this integrative medicine, and this is the objective. So we want that this knowledge base should be brought here also, into this hospital also, and we have experts who have been here, and you should also consider exploring these things, and we want that in this hospital and in all the hospitals, we should bring this integrative medical system, which are evidence-based. Let us take those things which are scientifically proven. And these things have been explored and a lot of research has been done. We take out those things and use it for this dimension. And more important is the prevention. Can we bring out this prevention? Though we say prevention is better than cure, hardly we spend time for this thing, hardly spend money for this. So in India now, after a large number of meetings with the Niti Aayog, we have been able to bring this dimension. It used to be only 1 or 2% of the health budget. Now it has increased to nearly 20% of the budget. And that's how prevention is coming up. In India, probably you may know that now 1.5 lakh wellness centers have been established in the country. And the whole objective is to bring prevention and promote positive health. Therefore, there we have the yoga therapists, and we have the Ayurveda people and all other people who will bring this dimension of the prevention. And that is how we have to deliver a new healthcare delivery system, which is very, very effective. And this has to be brought forth in part of the country also. And that is the objective of today's presentation. We gave you a little glimpse of what research that we have done and the basis on which this had to be put forth. With that, once again, I thank you very much for your opportunity. Dhanyavad. Thank you.
Any questions? Any questions?
Actually, I wanted to tell you that I teach in Arabian Gulf University, And we have also included this in the alternative medicine for 3 months for the students. So we are teaching for the last 5 years. It has become in our system now.
Wonderful. Great. It may combination. We should not do the advantage of allopathic system. When we say alternate system, okay, yoga, Ayurveda alternate system is different. We call it as integrative.
It
Both
is
should be. That's
complementary. We take it
correct.
as complementary,
Complementary.
not
Very
an
good.
alternate.
Nice.
I will just say only 1 or 2 words.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir, for it was very wonderful session actually, very informative. Although I was involved because we have a group actually called Cancer Care Group. We are requested by our Embassy of India to join hands to educate the Bahrainis more and to bring in more information about the yoga to Bahraini community. So we have been doing, and we have been very happy actually. The information, one thing I want to tell you, the Ministry of Health actually had been also involved adding the alternative medicine along with modern medicine. So we have mainly Ayush ministry. So we have the Ayurveda is there, yoga is there, and then homeopathy is there, and only not that the Siddha is not there much prevalent in Bahrain. So we have been involving in these things like that. The information which Mr. Manjunath gave us actually in the Antarctica, we were not knowing about those things what have been happening like that. And one of my cousin sister actually she went to a 21 days tour to Antarctica and South America actually. And she had a little bit of problem because I think maybe because of the change in the timing, the climate changes and other things like that. I think she developed a stroke actually. And this one is very informative. Actually, as Dr. Sandhu told, it is complementary. It is not that we say that only the modern medicine is superior to other medicine, but it was really complementing, and we are really happy to hear from you, such a veteran like you, to be here at Bahrain and to come and give us some inputs of this yoga and other medicine like that. Thank you very much, and we wish you all the best in your future also, sir. Thank you very much, sir. Really.
Thank you very much. What you said is really right, that many of the allopathic doctors, modern medical, have been having their great contribution. At the same time, they are not aware of other dimensions, whether it's yoga, allopathy, Ayurveda, Siddha, Unani, and other things. So what we did was, we started a program called Certificate Course in Integrative Medicine. In collaboration with Timhans, S-VYASA, we started a 6 months online program. So in the first batch, we had nearly 100 applications. We selected 30 people from all over the world. There were surgeons, there were oncologists, everybody was there, and it used to be complete online. Weekly once they had to come, on a Saturday for 1.5 hours, we'll do that. So like that it went on. And people got wonderfully well. And at the end, 1 week they had to come to Nimhans, 1 week they had to come to our thing in Prashanti Kutiram. And the feedback was so superlative. They said, we never knew that this can be happen, and we'll all start practicing. In the second batch, we had similarly 30 people we took, and results were good. Now, this third batch, we have 90 people whom we have taken. So what we can do is, even here also, if a lot of doctors are interested, we can take up this thing, and we start this certificate course in integrative, CCIM. It's an online program, thanks to these things. This can work too. This is how, once it happens, then people will start doing that. Unless this happens, this integration cannot take place. For India, what has happened is, AIMS, they have...
AIMS, I'm going to tell you, AIMS integrated, when I was there, integrated with the yoga, even with the labor room cases.
What Harshvardhan did was, along with the AIMS hospital everywhere, he started another big building for Ayush. That the building is there. And they put that yoga, and then also Ayurveda people also put there. What is happening? Here 3,000 people come for OPD. Here how many people come? Even 5, 10 people. Why? People who come here, they ask the doctor, doctor, this has happened, shall we go? And the doctor will say, no, no, we don't know anything, but something happens, we are not responsible. So they don't go. So what we have to do is we have to educate the doctors in the allopathic system about the entire OS system. Then only it can happen. This is what we have started doing. So now CCM being organized in AIMS Delhi, AIMS Jodhpur, all these places, we have started working on that, bring this thing. So this can be done even here also to give them the total knowledge base. Then they can start working. That's the whole approach we have.
The importance of clinical teaching is decreasing. We find that as soon as the patient comes, their CT should be done, MRI should be done, ultrasound, without even touching the patient.
Correct, right, exactly.
So that is happening. And then when we question them, they say, Doctor, the NEHRA or, the auditing, people will ask us, why you didn't do this investigation? So,
No, this is defensive medicine. Nowadays, lot of inquiries are coming, lot of complaints are going. So one way it is, as you told, before we used to do, when we studied the medicine, it was called inspection, palpation, percussion, auscultation, 4 stages. Now, immediately you see the face, hear the complaint, you write investigations. You don't do that.
Yeah. One more question we can take.
Thank you, Guruji, and Dr. HR Nagendra. Thank you, Dr. Manjunath Ji. I'm an intensivist here in the Bahrain. I have a I don't know it's a simple question or what it is. Allopathic medicine is a damage control or a disaster management. That's it. But every day we are dying, and we are happily dying. Any objection? You cannot prevent your hair growing grey. You cannot prevent your hair blown off. You cannot prevent your heart get broken will be blocked one day. Nothing can be stoppable. But I have a question. And we are from India, a ancient and yoga-rich country. You know, our rishis, our yogis, how long they live their life, more than 200 years. Some are, we don't know the age. So, yoga is, I'm not put in this small bracket. It's integrated, it is this, you put here, you use here. No. Yoga can stop to dying you. And every person should be aware of it. Okay, I want to, Guruji, please, something. This is I'm talking about the aging. This is a scientific term. Aging means slow declining of your function of your cell. Body is a bunch of the cell. The last functionality is cell. Cell has only 2 things. One powerhouse DNA, powerhouse mitochondria, which give energy. Second is DNA, that functioning. That's it. Guruji, please, this is the big platform I'm talking. Sir is there. And you can only explain this. And you can only taking it up. Otherwise, everyone asks, Guruji, this thing, no. And we carry on. Thank you, sir.
When you talk of the long goal or the original goal of yoga, what you said is right. It has to take you to your true self, okay, which is living in harmony with nature. When you live in harmony with nature, there is no time. Okay, so the time and space disappear when you live in harmony with nature. This year's International Day of Yoga, the theme is One Earth, One Health. Okay, beautiful. So the goal is certainly to manifest yourself in that true self, true nature, whereby nothing is disturbing you. But the minute you disconnect yourself from that and come to this so-called unreally real world, okay, so then you have all these problems. Then we need all these quick fixes. what you said, na? Like damage control, quick fix. These are essential because otherwise we don't know how to manage ourselves, because we still hope that I want to live a decently healthy life. How long I live, my aging can be regulated, etc. is still a big question, considering the definition of aging as per today's understanding. The definition of aging as per ancient understanding, Ayurveda is the science of life. Okay, so in Ayurveda, whatever you talk is about living long, a healthy life. Yoga definitely talks about it. And of course, my whole research journey has started with it, because with the present definition, I have worked, my doctoral work research is on healthy aging. Okay, but it is limited, whatever we talk of today. So when you seriously want to differentiate between present day understanding and the goal of life and goal of yoga, certainly we limit at times for the benefits of yoga to be brought down to our requirements. Like somebody has a back pain, so now okay, you can do yoga to help for back pain also. Somebody has a sleep disorder, you can give yoga also for a sleep disorder. That doesn't mean that yoga is only that. There is so much in yoga. Okay, we are just picking, tip of an iceberg is a very big word. Not forget about, not even a drop of the ocean we are touching. So that's the level to where yoga can take you. I totally agree with you, but that's the way forward. But at the same time, we respect allopathic system of medicine. You need that damage control, you need that quick fix. We entered through the emergency medicine department. Without that, so many lives will go. Okay, because at least you fix them at that point of time, then they can be given one more lease of life, whereby they can get back to yoga. We have one example there. That quick fix was done, then you can get back to that. That's the beauty of this. Otherwise, we call it as integration. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Dr. Manjunath. Yes, as said, that if we sow a seed and take in care, it can grow to a healthy tree. Same way, with the practice of yoga, we can have a healthy body also. So that can be, I think so. And as Guruji said, miracle can happen if you believe. Now I can say miracle will happen if we practice. And with this, if anybody is interested for the yoga sessions of Practice Yoga Retreat at S-VYASA campus, you can contact NavBharat. And even S-VYASA has the engineering college. So if anybody is seeking for admissions over there, get in touch with NavBharat. And NavBharat have their various yoga program. And our patron Pradeep ji, just to bring the health practice in human being, have started here as a Gurukul in NavBharat International WLL. So you can get in touch for more information about same. Now I would like to request Ritin Rajji to give vote of thanks.
Thank you very much for joining this very insightful event, though minimal in number, but the knowledge which was shared is quite vital. And from the bottom of my heart, I would like to thank our Guruji and Manjunath ji, Dr. Manjunath ji, and our veteran doctors whom we have here. Thank you very much for joining and blessing this session. This event would not have been possible without the presence of, without the support of Al-Hilal Hospital. I would like to express my thanks to the CEO of the hospital, Munawir. Munawir was quite pivotal in supporting and getting the thing done, and to his team as well. Thank you. And to all the participants here, God bless you. Let's make yoga a daily practice. Thank you. Good night. We'll be having a photo session, please, and then we'll disperse. Thank you. Good night.